All right, guys. Hello and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. I didn't do a Fireside Chat intro because the guest has not shown up. Apparently, they talked a big game and they were ready to come on here and demolish everybody, leaving a giant crater where, Honey Badger Radio once stood, and they have not shown up. So they're late to our annihilation, and that's fine.
We live another day, Brian.
Yeah, we get to live on another day. They have another chance to look. The invitation is open. They can come on if they want to. I think that maybe it was one of those things where, I don't know the backstory of this. Maybe like we could talk about that a little bit. Yeah, I don't know the backstory of this, but this person was fighting with you online, and it was about the statistics of sexual assault. I know that much.
I'm muted. I was muted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was the statistics on sexual assault. Essentially, I have a compilation of statistics that I've been working on for about, actually 15 years. Before then, there wasn't a lot of statistics related to the sexual abuse of men in any capacity. But now they started to seep into the big community surveys and other stuff like that. So I started to compile this stuff because it was painting a vastly different picture than what the feminists were presenting. And so I have a gigantic list that I drop periodically because this was my issue that brought me into the men's issues movement and men's rights advocacy, was the sexual abuse of men and people who are sexually abused by women. And so this has been my focus in many ways on research. I mean, I've researched almost everything else as well, but this was my thing. And so I do sometimes use my discussions on Twitter, even the controversial ones, as a means to just sort of convey this information and try to put it out there in whatever way I can. And this individual, and he is not the first feminist to do this. He said that he was going to destroy my stats live. And I said, okay, you want to come on? And here we are. But prior to that, there have been other feminists who've taken a stab at it. And one in particular was really notable. It was like a couple months ago. She was like, I'm gonna rip these things apart. I'm sharpening my pencil. You're gonna go down. And she ended up going through all of them, and she found, and I have to thank her for this, because she found an updated stat that confirmed one of the older stats that I had put up. And she actually presented it like, this disproves you. And I'm like, have you actually read this? Because look, just one line below says exactly what the older stat that I was using said. And so I actually used her stat and put it in my updated list. So thank you. Any other feminist who wants to go after this list and help me improve it and make it better and more comprehensive, feel free, because that seems to be the ultimate thing that happens. And I think this particular poster wanted to specifically go after the use of, there was one finding where millennial women use weapons about 2 or 3 times more often to force sex, which is the FBI definition of rape, by the way.
Yeah.
And they wanted to look at the fact that that survey used an M-Turk sample, which is like it's mechanical Turk. It's like an online sampling. Like people are paid to take surveys. But the problem is that the M-Turk survey, or the system, is actually more accurate to the general population of the US than the usual undergraduate student surveys that they do.
Mm-hmm.
The limitations is that the M-Turk survey tends to be more urban, more liberal, and younger than the population of the US. So the researchers in that particular study said, okay, well, this is a limitation of the M-Turk. And then all of the feminists have misunderstanding what limitations mean, have latched on to say, oh, this is invalid. I'm like, no, it's actually less invalid than all of the feminist studies that just do undergraduate students, because this is a better sample. That what they're saying is that the next time you want to do and try to look into this issue, choose a different sampling method, choose a different sample pool to strengthen findings and be able to
Yeah.
extend it more to the general population of the US. I argued that and argued that it did not penetrate, but which is one of the problems that I'm finding is that I don't think these individuals who try to annihilate these statistics actually really understand the science at all. I mean, I am a lay person, but I've been following this for a long time. So,
Yeah.
I understand. And also, I have gone through a master's degree. I did do a thesis and, all of that stuff. Now, I didn't do my own original research, so I don't know necessarily all the ins and outs of creating a study, but I know how to read them, you know. And anyway, so that's what's going on. I'm sorry, guys. We may
Yeah.
have a
I mean,
complete no show.
they bitched out. I don't know if it's because they got lazy or because they got cold feet or whatever. They don't know how to use Zoom, because all you do is click on the link and then you get, you have an account, you get in. But they were, last time I spoke to them, they were whining that I didn't use Discord to do this, and I said Zoom is okay, and they were like, okay. So yeah, I think it's just excuse making. I don't know if we're gonna see them, but it doesn't look like it. So I could send them a taunt if you like. I could taunt them.
Taunt them a second.
I
Tell
could
them
taunt
that
them a second time.
tell them that
and
their
that
father was a hamster and their mother smelled of elderberries.
I don't want to do ad hominems, but yeah, I mean, I'm a little annoyed because
Yeah, like, geez,
I
we
mean,
set this
like,
all up.
we
I guess
have, yeah, that was supposed to be today's show.
it's on
And
us, I guess,
yeah, I guess so.
for trusting some rando on the internet. I mean, I have something we could respond to. It's a little bit of a topic shift. I could upload it and you could take a look, Brian, and you could see if this is worth it. We could even
I don't
change
know
the title.
Yeah, I don't know if I can display it. I'd have to, let me see. I'd have to create a new scene so that we can put it up and look at it, and that's the trick. Oh well, yeah, there is something I can do. I can, because this is I have like a display capture running. That's how we're doing Zoom meetings, because Zoom doesn't let you, like, it doesn't let you capture the window. It's, I don't know what it is about Zoom. They're like super like protective of their shit, but
Yeah.
yeah,
and we
but
can't just switch over to Ninja. Eh?
No. I mean, if we do, yeah, because it's like a whole different.
I mean,
like I said, it's a whole different
keep
set of
streaming,
scenes.
switch over, and then bring me in, right?
I don't know if I can see. The thing is, I have a scene collection. I don't think I can change scene collections. I don't know what'll happen if I do it. I feel like it's gonna stop the stream. So I can add a scene in here and display, like, I could add a scene and display a window, but it'll be on top of us and then like take it away when we talk. That's basically what I can do. So are you talking about the pregnancy test roulette thing?
Yeah, the pregnancy. Yeah, me and Karen are arguing about the pregnancy test. I don't know what it is. I did not say that these women were bad women. I was actually relatively indifferent. The fact that they're all taking a pregnancy test together and just the idea of that raises the hair on the back of my neck. But I know that I'm a fairly private person and a bit of a germaphobe. So aside from that, it's like I even said in my retweet, I think this is benign. But on the other hand, like, there's a lot of guys who don't. They just don't like it. And
I'm gonna see if I can find the
want to
thing
talk about
on
that?
I thought that's what you were getting at.
No. I sent it to you. This is a.
Oh,
I mean, honestly, I think that's just. I can't bring myself to care too much.
yeah.
Because I think it's just young people maybe having a little, like, personally, I would not put that on the internet. I wouldn't take pregnancy tests with my friends, and I wouldn't. I would be mortified to hand someone something that I peed on. And then to just sort of juggle it around and not wash your hands. Okay, that's not something, that's not my cup of tea. But I don't have any really strong feelings aside from that. I don't think they're bad people. especially if they're part of like a community that men and women do separate things, or more, or a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like men have their
Yeah.
role, women have their role, and that there's more of an emphasis on the community of men and the community of women in those kinds of communities. So it's a different kind of thing. I think I'd be more judgmental if this was like a bunch of
So
urban
I th-
girl women.
yeah. I think the thing that you sent me, I got it. It's different.
Mhm.
It's not
Yeah, it's
that.
different. It's
Okay.
completely
So
different. It's a
all right.
criticism of the general manosphere.
So
But
I can add this, but the thing is, you won't be able to see it, but I can show it to the audience.
all right,
So do you
well,
want me to do
can
that?
I
And
hear
then
it
we'll
at
just
least, or
I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. It's a minute and 47. Because the thing is, Zoom. Let me see. Let me
you know what?
see.
Let's put it to the chat, like whether or not we, because you say I don't know what's going to happen, and now I want to know what's going to happen. Chat, do you want us to attempt to make this like more functional for you in terms of a stream at the risk of annihilating ourselves? I mean, we were already risking annihilation because, of course, the internet feminist was going to destroy our genetic line with his,
Yeah.
you know,
Uh,
he
yeah.
was going to hit
Feminist
us so
Thanos
hard.
was gonna come on here and
I
just
just
like take
snap
us
his
out,
finger and
but
take us out. But
it
we
didn't
could,
happen. So
the
we managed to
annihilation
survive
could
that.
be a result of our own poor choices at this point. So do you want us to attempt to move over to Video Ninja at the potential cost of the stream? Or do
Two
you want
girls,
us to
one.
just sort of hack through with Zoom and Zoom's
Well,
lesser abilities, shall we say?
do we have 35 people watching and 10 watching on the vertical right now? We
Mm,
might lose all of them when I do this.
okay.
So, do you want me to? Okay, so here's what I'll do.
All
I
right.
will potentially sign. I won't disconnect, but I'll sign out like I'm ending a show, and then
Okay.
switch it and see if it lets me
Okay.
without dropping everything.
Okay.
And then if it does, then I'll have to jump on Video Ninja, which
Uh-oh.
means there'll be
Someone
some
says don't
silent.
risk it.
Oh, don't risk it. Yeah.
No, I think we got to do it now. We've already initiated. We've already initiated countdown, guys. So, goodbye.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
just
Hold
remember
on.
us.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna try to do this. Okay. Let's switch it. All right. I'm back. Oh shit, that got really loud. All right. So I just need a little bit of time. It didn't disconnect me, which is promising, but it did kind of create some different challenges here. So because this is my life now. Um, all right. So I'm gonna mute this and move it over here. Sorry, guys. And let me see, where is there it is. Share that. And then grab this link and we'll go into this right here. Okay, there you go. So we have our sauce, and now I just need to get Allison's camera in there. So let me just invite her and see if she joins right away. All right, and I can close this. So apologize for that. So do you guys see me? Is this working for y'all? Just waiting on Allison to join. Okay, there she is. So let me just Let me just. Yeah. All right. They should be able to hear you shortly. There we go. All right.
Oh, okay. All right. So they can hear
let
me now. Okay, good.
here.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's good now. All right.
All
So
right.
that worked out somehow. All right. So it didn't disconnect when I switched, so that's interesting because that introduces some new possibilities for
Yes,
stuff I
that's what I
could
was
do. I'm
thinking, you
not.
know? Like,
I don't know though. I mean, because I have different scene collections. So
but if it showed the scene while you were switching, you could always like do a video.
I can make
Yeah.
a scene. I can make a scene in all of the collections that's the same, and then if I need to, I don't want to make this a normal practice because I think it's risky. But yeah, Alice, you do sound different. Are you using a different microphone now?
No, let me
Let's
see what's
see.
going on. Oh, I see. Yes.
Here, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
better. Okay, it just auto switched to the other microphone. So okay,
Right.
we're back.
All right. Well, yeah, we are back. So we're gonna be looking at this Twitter video. So this is this the thing that started a conversation that you got into an argument with Karen over? Is this the one?
No. This is
Oh, okay,
completely
okay.
different. This is
Yeah, because I saw this one. I saw. I didn't watch this video, so I don't know what's in it. But I did see that like Homath and some other people were commenting on like how harmful the Manosphere is. It's just though, it's just really interesting how everyone's talking about this now, but they're coming at this from a kind of consequentialist perspective, like, OMG, if we don't do something about the men might do something to us. The men might become dangerous. The men might become, harmful to women. And it's just really funny because it's like it's the opposite of the reason why you should be giving a shit in the first place, like you're now it's a problem. Like Shoe on Head just made a video. I just watched it. It's like 40 minutes. And it's like, OMG, the men are moving right. What do we do? Why don't we care about the men? It's like, yeah, you get what you fucking deserve. Like this is what like now it's a problem, not because the men are lonely, not because the men are suicidal, not because the men are like, struggling
because
financially,
they're organizing,
but because because they're actually standing up and saying, you know what, this is what I'm going to do with my life now. And they're like, oh no. And then they're like, why don't we do something to try to like get them to join our side? And it's like, yeah, but it's not about your side. It's about what's right. And you're not able to do that. So this is where we are now. And I'm here for it. Like, let's bring it on. You get what you deserve. So,
well, okay. So, I mean, but first of all, there's a lot of anger and it's just going to happen. And I think I know I keep reiterating this and I probably sound like a broken record. I think I predicted this. Like, and make it and well before me, I predicted from a different angle, but MGTOW, eventually, actually what occurred to me is that the more men realize there's no women at the end of the rainbow for them, the more they're going to stop giving a crap what women think. We are constructing a world in which there is no benefit for men to abiding with what women think. Like there's just, I mean, and I don't mean just benefit as in, everybody's like always makes this really crass. It's sex. It's getting the slim woman with a zero partners, virginal bride. I'm not even talking about that. I'm saying that our society makes it very plain, and women are making it very plain, that the two things I would say men actually want, love, desire, and maybe a third, respect, are not on offer. And I mean, the whole conversation around this goes really low really quickly and becomes very transactional. But I think ultimately, for how people pair up, people usually choose someone who's about the same attractiveness. They usually use someone who has about the same sexual experience. They usually choose someone who has about the same attitude towards relationship, virtues, ethics, that kind of thing. That's all pretty much a given. So when men say, "Oh, I want somebody who I find attractive, who has shares my ethics, and if she expects me to lead, I want her to actually follow," that kind of. This is just them saying, "I want a relationship." because those things are part of a standard relationship. They're just like, I'd like the basic model, please. It's nothing transactional or mercenary about it. But in addition to that, like what I think men are saying or wanting, and I could be completely wrong, I am speaking for men, is again that triumvirate of love, desire, and respect. And women are not showing, like, even if the men get the physical features, the other stuff, women, the sum total of what I'm seeing women pushing into the noosphere is that those things are not an offer. That there is no market for that. There's no seller for that. It doesn't exist anymore. And I think that's what men are picking up, is that what they're in it for is not there anymore. I mean, they might be able to get like a physical shell, but at that point, why don't you just get a sex bot? But the rest of it isn't there. And I mean, we've talked about that with the incels, like that. Me and you have said that what they're after is a connection, is an emotional connection. Not just the sex. Sex is a part, an expression of the emotional connection, but they want that intimacy. And to say that they're just after sex cheapens it. And I think it's the same with men. They're after things that women are not presenting as available. And women are thinking, well, men are just after sex. That's all we have to give. No. And as this becomes more and more apparent, as men are waking up to not just, I have to do all of these hoops at the end of the day. I got to jump through I got to somehow man myself into an extra 5 inches of height. I got to man myself into having Chris Helmsworth build. I got to man myself into be a multimillionaire. They're not just looking at the hoops they have to jump through, but at the end of the day, what do you get? You get a manifestel who doesn't respect you, doesn't love you, and doesn't desire you. But will take your money. She's happy to do that. And men are waking up to that. And when they wake up to that, I don't know if women realize just how, and I'm not saying physically nasty. I don't think this is going to elevate into being anything physical, right? I don't think women are aware of just how angry, and if not anger, indifferent it's going to look. When a critical mass of men realize there's nothing they're going to do to get what they actually want from women, which is desire, love, and respect. It's just be outside of men are just going to be like, in my opinion, this is what's happening. Men are going to just express their honest opinion about what they think of women, what they think women when they do their little fun skits, and what they think of women's entertainment, what they think of women's attitudes, what they think of women's intelligence. They're just going to be freaking flat out honest. And it's the honesty that's going to burn. And they don't even have to be like cruel or contemptuous. They're just going to be honest. And honestly, I am not really upset with that. I think that, we should keep everything with integrity, and we should keep espousing ethics, but maybe men have earned the right to be honest with women.
Yeah.
And and okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I was just going to say this video, we're going to look at this, right? Should I play it, or did you want to say something else?
Sure. Let's play it.
All right. This is like 1 minute and 47 seconds. I don't think we're going to get dinged for it, but let's play it. So I've never seen this, but I know it was doing the rounds.
Manosphere content is making men hopeless. Just a month ago, I would have identified myself as a Manosphere creator, believing it genuinely wanted to help men, calling out modern feminism, promoting masculinity, and empathizing with the struggles men face. Men are definitely facing serious issues that I and other creators are well aware of. But the Manosphere and its key figures have lost their way. Instead of
can I just say right off the bat, whenever somebody starts talking about this stuff and they say modern feminism, I tune out right away. I'm sorry, but it's not recent feminism. It's just feminism. It's just feminism, okay? We don't have to qualify it with a time period, because that immediately implies that there was good feminism once and it's lost its way. Just not true.
Okay, I'm gonna come back because I need to correct something. I'll just be a moment. Just continue with your
All right, I'm going to
discussion.
play some more of the
Sure.
video then. Okay. So let me see here. There we go. I'm putting it back on the screen so the verticals can see it.
Addressing these issues with hopeful solutions, it's become a non-stop dunk contest on women, where the absolute worst examples of what it means to be a woman are deceptively promoted as though they represent the average woman in modern society. Which leads me to the most important point. You have to keep in mind that top creators are feeding an algorithm where negativity sells and their cause takes a backseat to their need to satisfy an audience. I have experienced this firsthand. I've posted reactionary content because I knew it would pull people in, but I stopped because this only drags viewers deeper into hopelessness. They stop thinking about the things they can improve and instead focus on the enemies highlighted by creators. This doesn't help men, it only leaves them angrier and more isolated.
Who the F are Manosphere and its key figures? Well, obviously, the thing is, I think that what a lot of these people do is they measure the, let's say, the qualities of a part of a conversation by the clout that some of the people have. So when people say the Manosphere, they are talking only about the people who have the largest amount of followers, the largest amount of influence, and not necessarily the people who are making the best points. Now, I think the algorithm, such as it is, perhaps feeds into feeds into stuff that's going to be controversial or dramatic because it gets more, like traffic that way. But I don't blame the people who use that to their advantage per se. So, when they say the Manosphere and its key figures, they're talking about the people with the most subs, the most followers, the most traffic, the most conversation. They're talking about Pearl, they're talking about Fresh and Fit, they're talking about the Whatever podcast, they're talking about Andrew Tate. They're not actually talking about like the people who are necessarily making the best arguments. And so what she's got a problem with, it's funny because it's measuring everything based on the clout instead of the substance. And then she's got a problem with the people who use it. But what can we do about that? Like what can we do about that other than, essentially stop, I don't know, blaming men for this? Let me go back, Alice, because you didn't hear the part where she talks about this being a dunking contest on women. So again, this is Lauren Southern did this already. I think the Shoe's done this. Some other people have done this where they're like, oh, it's getting to the point now where all they do is they rag on women. It's like, yeah, you mean like how we've been ragging on men for like 100 years and now we're ragging on women some, and you're like, oh my God, this is harmful. Oh, is it? Is it really harmful when you essentially beat down half of the population constantly, even when you claim that you're trying to help them, like what's happening right now, where like the well, I don't know how else to put it, like the Democrat Party or the left or whatever, they're like, why don't men support us? We've only been dogging on them and calling them shit for 100 years. Why are they moving to the right? Why are they reacting this way? And it's like, why do you have a problem with it when they're doing that instead of like addressing what their fucking problems were? And of course they don't want that because they don't actually care about men. They just want like what they can use. And the men are just doing what they want to do. They're thinking for themselves now. So, I mean, not that they didn't always, but like it's, they cannot come to the point where they are saying, do men matter in our society? The answer is obviously yes. Why? Well, basically everything that you have that you could use to complain, you only have because men gave it to you thanklessly in most cases. And why are we being such pieces of garbage when it comes to men? I know that garbage is a trigger word now. We're not supposed to say it, but why are we being trash to men? Why are we treating this way? And then when men say, maybe we should have standards on women. Maybe we should like have some expectations that, that women should be virtuous in some way before we think about like approaching them or spending time with them. And they're like, you can't do that. You can't hold women to standards. We have to figure out, like, it's like you guys can't solve this problem. Like, you can't solve this problem because you've made it impossible to criticize women and you've made it impossible to respect men. Like you've just done that, right? This is the paradigm you've made and you can't get out of it. This is why this woman is not going to say anything useful. But anyway, Allison's back.
Let's find out. Yeah. You wanted to go back and tell and have
I went back a little bit.
Definitely
So
facing serious issues that I and other creators are well aware of. But the Manosphere and its key figures have lost their way. Instead of addressing these issues with hopeful solutions, it's become a non-stop dunk contest on women. We're the absolute worst examples of.
Okay, so
the
75
worst
years,
examples.
We've used the worst examples. Feminism has used the worst examples of men to impugn the motives of all men. Let's be honest here. Like that is what we've done for the last 75 years, if not longer. The Declaration of Sentiments, and now men are doing the same to women. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's very destructive. But how long are men expected to tolerate it? Like, if men stop doing this, is feminism going to stop promoting a completely unscientific theory about reality that has never been proven? It hasn't even gone through the first step of being framed in a way that could be proven, right? Like, is all this stuff that's proceeding? And the other thing is that if this stuff doesn't stop, like if the behavior towards men doesn't stop, what grounds do you have to even judge men's anger in response? Like, are you like, is this woman saying, okay, well, if you guys stop being angry, we'll actually make the changes you're asking for? Is that on the table? Because I suspect no. So what was really going on is just be quiet again, men. Just be quiet. And for no reason, because there's nothing in it for you to be quiet, but we just want you to be quiet. Well, good luck with that. That doesn't, like, at this point, there's no reason for men to be quiet anymore, for a lot of men to be quiet anymore. There's absolutely no reason for them to be flattering towards women, to shut up when they're bothered by women. There's no reason there's nothing in it for them to be quiet. I mean, there's no world in which that path leads to a benefit. So why not express their anger? And then you have people like this being like, oh, but well, good luck. You got nothing. You got nothing to get, unless you are. And I honestly, I cannot say to guys, yeah, if these people say, well, if you dial back the anger, we'll actually purge society of the bullshit that's being said about men. You know, the fact that we have a very powerful institutional narrative that takes the worst examples of men and makes all men, even boys, even little kids who are just developing themselves, take responsibility for it. Right? Is that going to happen? And the answer is no. But here's the thing. You don't have a bargaining position. Like, the more men wake up and realize, yeah, maybe there's a woman at the end of the man up and gain 5 inches, and man up and broaden your shoulders, and man up and get the body of Chris Helmsworth, whatever the hell, man up and get like $2 million. Just do that, guys. It's every single man can do that if they just man hard enough. Like, maybe men are looking at that, and what's at the end of the road for them? Love, respect, desire? Not really. Just a woman who's going to use them for all of the things that they've manned up to get. You know, and it's like, this is, I'm going to step way back, which is probably going to lose everyone. But this is what happens when a society ability to maintain the relationship between men and women is outstripped by its technological or social progress. Like, this, and it's not even, you don't have to blame men, you don't have to blame women. This is something that is created by the technology that we've developed since like the 1800s, if not, and the social technology developed even before that supported the actual physical technology. So yes, the discussion of who to blame is ultimately not very productive. However, I think women are the only ones who can pull anything out of this. which is unfortunate because usually when that happens, societies just collapse. When it comes down to women and they have to hold up their half of the sky, things just collapse. The collapse is recorded we just die back to the point where we can actually form families again. And this is very high abstract stuff, so I apologize. So I'm gonna be quiet now.
All right, let me play more of the video, but I think we get this. Okay.
What it means to be a woman are deceptively promoted as though they represent the average woman in modern society, which leads me to the most important point. You have to keep in mind that top creators are feeding an algorithm where
Are you fucking okay? Just wait. So you have correctly identified what's been happening to men because of feminism, and all of the women who subscribe to it and all of the women who just use it casually in order to dominate the men in their lives. You've just described what happens to men, but now it's a problem. What? Okay.
All right.
Cause takes a backseat to their need to satisfy an audience. I have experienced this firsthand. I've posted reactionary content because I knew it would pull people in, but I stopped because this only drags viewers deeper into hopelessness. They stop thinking about the things they can improve and instead focus on the enemies highlighted by creators. This doesn't help men. It only leaves them angrier.
Well, yeah, that's honestly, yes, this is true. We need to focus on what we can do for ourselves, of course. But the other hand is that there is a huge impetus in our society to absolutely refuse to see that men have vulnerabilities by the actual definition of vulnerability, which is they are exposed to external forces that can cause them harm. The compulsion is to immediately blame men for things that are well outside their control. So let's just sit with not doing that for a bit. And also, let us develop the ability to hold women to account and blame women. I'm going to use the blame word because everybody hates it. Blame women. When we get to the point where we can blame women as much as we blame men, as freely as we blame men, then we can discuss how much each of them are to blame, what they are to blame for. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the thing is, we need to be okay with the action of blaming women. We need to be okay with it. We need to say, that's fine. It's okay. People aren't going to have their brains explode. It's not going to cause Armageddon. Nuclear war isn't going to pop off. We can blame women. And when we get comfortable with blaming women, recognizing the culpability of their actions, recognizing their accountability, recognizing some level of responsibility, that when we get okay with that, my pie in the sky vision would be we're as okay with that as we are with the reverse, blaming men. But regardless, when we get okay with that, then we can have the discussion of who is responsible for what. But you see what I'm saying? Until we can actually blame women as freely as we blame men, how can we even have an honest discussion about who can do what to fix it?
Yeah. All right, let's play some more.
And if that wasn't enough, the angriest voices head to the comments section and create a groupthink trap where even level-headed men can lose hope, allowing a vocal minority to shape their views of women and dating. In reality, many men, short, fat, tall, skinny, paycheck to paycheck, wealthy, are living fulfilling lives with incredible women who love them. As of 2019, 61% of men aged 25 to 54 have partners. And I've got news for you. 61% of men those ages are not 6 feet tall, making 100K and looking like Thor. So the next time you're consuming this content, ask yourself.
Okay.
I mean, 64% it's actually not a great number, because
that also includes
that means that 40-something%. Yeah, and then there's like the age range that she threw in, like 25 to 64. Wait a minute. How, like, in that age range? Yeah, that's a deceptive stat, because like I would assume that guys in their 40s, 50s, and 60s are probably more likely to have somebody because of a number of factors. They likely have more resources at that age. They're more established at that age, and the women are, like, you know, well out of their hoe phase, and they're like looking to settle down. So that's not really a reliable data point to throw out there. And besides, and it's still kind of messed up because you're still looking at 40-something% of guys. That's not small. That's a lot, right? So yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this number.
No, it's like far lower now, and it's not a good number. But here's the other thing. Those men are likely in relationships with women they met offline. I actually saw a statistic that was terrifying. Only 1 in 10 relationships is that the people meet on a dating app. But consider how much of our dating is now through the apps and how much of it is forced online because feminist initiatives to stop men from talking to or expressing interest in women, so to the point where men run a minefield of losing everything they've built in their entire lives if they talk to the wrong woman in the wrong way once. Okay. And this has happened. All right. And it may be that, if you just put 100,000 men through this minefield, at least 20,000 of them will survive. But how freaking callous can you be to simply dismiss the problems and the anxiety that this causes in men? And not just that, but these aren't campaigns like, we like it. No, don't do it. This is wrong. You are hurting women if you approach them in public. They don't want to be scared out of their wits thinking you're going to predate on them. That kind of thing. It's really heavy-handed stuff. So it's pushing all dating online. And when you look at the online content being created by women directed at men, maybe not, they don't expect men to watch it, but they are talking about men. It is hideous. If you look at how women apparently behave towards men in these dating apps, not pleasant. So she can say, yeah, there's men who are, those men are in relationships with women they no doubt met in real life outside of the internet. But all of our social, especially after COOF, which is probably why it's gotten so bad in the last few years, all of our social life is now being pushed and pushed and pushed onto the internet. And that's a completely different ballpark. When men go online and they see how women treat them or what they say about them, it's hideous. Okay? There are far more women saying, we don't want to be approached. It's horrible. Don't look at us. It's rape. Then there are women saying, hey, actually, I do. I do like an approach. If you're polite and take no for an answer or whatever. There's far more women discouraging men from approaching them in public, which is what leads to the good outcomes. Then there are women encouraging it. I mean, you got to look like, lady, pull the hair up like I do. Put on the beanie. Take off the excessive makeup and go online and let people think you're a man. Then come back and tell me what it's like for a man. Right? As I said in one of my Twitter videos, the reason why I present as androgynously as I can is because people mistake me for a man and then they treat me like one. And it is eye-opening. So do that, lady. Go present as androgynously as you can. And then tell me what it's like for a man. And if you won't even get like the full male experience, you'll just get a little taste of it. All right.
Well, there's only a few seconds left. Just want to point out that I did finally hear back from the person who's supposed to be the guest. They said, I just woke up. I'm not going to bother with that now, I don't think. I mean, unless you want me to. But I think that if you have an intention to appear on someone's show, to talk to them, whether it is as an interview or a debate or whatever, and you don't have the common courtesy to just wake up on time, and yet you're going to complain about I don't know what we talk about, and you're sleeping at fucking 2:00 in the afternoon, at least Eastern time. Yeah, I don't know. That's you show up on time, just get up and do it. But if you're not going to do that, then I don't think you're a serious person, and I don't think I want to talk to you. So, all right, let's finish the video. So yeah, I'm sorry, Ellen degenerate, but you had your time, your chance, and you blew it.
Is this just a dopamine hit, a way to validate my victimhood, or is it actually making me a better man? If it's only fueling bitterness, it might be time to seek content that actually helps you rather than just feeding your resentment.
All right.
Okay, so you want to seek content that actually helps you. Okay, well, men, I would suggest you don't watch women on the internet at all. Like, seriously. And the other thing is that this is no indication, like, does she actually, maybe she takes responsibility in other circumstances for what women are doing to totally demoralize men on the internet, like what women are presenting, to the point where when women present anything, even something innocuous, men are reacting like allergic, like an anaphylactic shock to it. Like, this is the thing. Where do women take responsibility for what they're telling men, what they're showing men, what they're saying about men? Do you at any point? Because when I listen to this, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's nice. What can I say to men? What content can I tell men to avoid? Almost everything made by women about men on the internet. Feminism as much as possible, but you can't because it's institutional now. It's everywhere, right? Boys are taught this stuff from an A. Like, you talk about, oh, these men are taking the worst examples of women. Not even the worst. This is the other problem I have with this. They aren't taking the worst. They're taking women who are entitled, but they aren't rapists. You know, they might have ridiculous standards, but they are not abusers.
Yeah.
They aren't taking the worst that women have to offer and presenting that as an example of womanhood. That's what feminism did to men. Like, and you can't get away from that. So it's like, yeah, even your premise is wrong. They're not actually taking the worst. And it's amazing that she thinks that these are the worst examples of women, because I've seen the worst examples of women. These are not the worst examples of women. You know, Fresh and Fit could be bringing on women who that woman that came across my desk recently, who raped her 1-year-old son and filmed it. You know, they could be bringing on the British woman who pursued a campaign of freaking terror against her husband. You know, and that's a recent video. They could bring on women who brag about the fact that they don't consider men's consent when they want sex. That's the worst, right? They could really bring on the worst and say, this represents what all women are. And that would actually start getting closer to what feminism has done to men. And again, where is women's responsibility for what they're saying about men, causing men to become demoralized? And I wouldn't say, like, if we were all like, if this was a situation where I knew she was just as comfortable blaming women as she was blaming men, I might consider, but we're not there yet. We have a long way to go before we are just as comfortable blaming women as we are blaming men. And until we're there, the discussion is going to be distorted by the expectation that men take responsibility not for external things that they have no control over, but external things caused by women's choices that they also have no control over. That has to change. All right. And this woman isn't doing any, like, I mean, at the end of the day, she's just not doing anything.
Yep.
Her content is
no, it's just what does this ultimately boil down to is, stop watching content of, women going on the whatever podcast and getting into arguments and promoting their OnlyFans pages, because, some men might see that as normalizing. And it's like, well, maybe there should be more women that are like vocally opposing that instead of like telling men to stop looking at it. Maybe there should be more women that are like, look, I'm going to be a living example of the opposite of this. And maybe we should see that. Maybe there are women who should say, I disavow these women over here or whatever. I will vocally criticize them. But there isn't. Instead, it's like, protect the sisterhood. And there's a couple ways you can do that, and one of them is, you're generalizing, and that's not really constructive. So, yeah, I don't see the use in that anyway. Should we? Because this person is they're still like not talking to me. Whatever, haven't come on. So, what do you want to do now? You're muted.
Well, I think we responded to this. I mean, ultimately, this ended up being completely different than what you intended, and sorry about that. We can't. Internet tough guy just didn't show, so there you go.
Yeah. All right.
So,
yeah,
let's
I
just.
guess we can just wrap it up here, and I'll have to change the title and stuff. So
that's
or,
fine.
I don't know.
I think you should probably unlist the vertical stream as well, because it's not going to do much for us. But yeah, like, thank you for joining. Sorry the guy didn't show up. Although on a positive note, we're not annihilated. We continue.
Yeah, I get to live another day.
We get to live another day. So yeah, it wasn't a good day to die. All right. So once again, if you enjoy this content, I didn't mention this throughout the stream, but if you want to send us a comment about what we have said, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. At some point this month, the fundraiser to support the show will be at feedthebadger.com/support. And yeah, that's it. Back to you, Brian.
All right. Well, if you guys like this video for what it is, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about the video we responded to and the guest that never showed up. And please share this video, because sharing is caring. Thank you so much for coming on today's episode of whatever this was. And we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Have a good
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.